Okay, so the next thing is method of measurement. So it's really important to be as precise as possible. They really advise to never use a cloth measuring tape. Always use a steel one to get exact measurements. You can roll it down and it's really easy to get into those little cracks and corners when you have to get the exact measurement. So measure sizes to the nearest eighth of an inch. And then you have to measure from the left, the right, top, bottom, and through the center. And again, make sure that these measurements are exact. Okay, so measurements, they vary a little bit depending on what kind of shutter you're going to be putting into them. So you have the inside mounts as well as the outside mounts. So for inside mounts, you're gonna, for the width, measure in 3 places and use the narrowest width. So of all the 3, use the smallest measurement you find. For the height, you're gonna measure in 3 places again, but you're gonna use the longest measurements. So again, the longest one you see is the one you're gonna use because you don't want to have any places where sun can get through or the sizing's wrong. The biggest size is the one you want to go for, except for vertical blinds and privacy sheer blinds, you use the shortest height. So that's a little bit opposite, as you can see. For outside mounts, you're going to make sure to specify the exact width and height dimensions. So to ensure minimum light gaps and maximum privacy, you have to add 4 to 5 inches on each side of the 4 sides for the vertical blinds, or add 1 to 11/12 inch on each side for horizontal blinds. So typically for outside mounts, sizing deductions aren't going to be made by the manufacturer, just as they're going to be made for inside mounts. But due to the fact that measuring methods vary from each company, it'd be really important to know how you're supposed to measure it for that specific company you're going to be buying from. So, yes, those are important things to remember. Advantages and disadvantages of shutters. So, what's the point of even having shutters? I will tell you. It's up to double the R value rating when using insulated panels. It's a lot less money than fabric coverings. It's a great control of light and privacy as they can be opened in increments and allows for, how much light you want to come into the room as well as heat. A little more control over that, whereas fabric coverings, it's either they're open or they're closed. So shutters give more of a flexible operation there. They last a lot longer than soft window treatments because they're more durable, and they're aesthetically pleasing. They're pretty to look at. Like, why not have them? Disadvantages, however, everything has a disadvantage, unfortunately. So something would be having to work around cranks and other pre-existing conditions. Since they have to be slightly operated by people, they have the cranks and that can get in the way sometimes. So also, paints and stains are inevitably gonna fade in the sun. That's just something that can't be fixed, but you can do your best to maintain them and keep them clean so that won't be as much as a disadvantage. Sorry. And they don't block out all of the sun. Because they have slits in them and louvers, they're not gonna be able to block out every tiny crack. But that's why you have the shutters, that you can have that more versatile look to it. Okay, this is the nitty-gritty part. So we have specification and format. So first, we have the general part, part 1. That includes submittals, when you have shop drawings which show the location of the window treatment, operations, and then they can give samples like louvers for horizontal or vertical blinds. The next one is quality assurance. There's regulatory requirements, the NFPA 701, There's mock-ups, which can be particularly helpful when multiple window treatments will be used on a window to verify the appropriate depth and hardware operation. The third one is project conditions. Environmental requirements. They comply with manufacturer's written requirements. So, you need to make sure that these are exact and that they go along with everything that the manufacturer is saying. Then you have field measurements that verify and coordinate with fabrication of window treatments. And the last one is maintenance. Extra materials, package and labels, full width material. So specification format, this is just part one, the basics, just making sure that things are up to code, up to what people are specifying for. Next we have part two, products. So part one of that would be fabrication. There's some tolerances. There's the width, which is a 1/2 inch or 12 millimeters, less than the opening. It includes for blinds and shades installed within an opening between window jambs to ensure that the treatment fills the opening. And the last one is execution. That includes schedules. The schedule of wall coverings is usually given on a finished schedule included either in the specifications or more commonly on the drawings. So it's important that all of these specs are really, really detailed and that they give exactly what is going on with everything. If something's off, then there's going to be a lot of chaos when trying to install something. So that concludes this section. So tune in for the next part about installation.